goes, no. So it's not till the afternoon. So they're going to get up. They're going to go to church. Yep. Yep. So we'll start. We're going to leave tomorrow morning about 7. Be down there all week. And,
yeah, I'm sure there'll be things to do.
Awesome. Very well.
Gary, how are you? Those who are staying for the lunch, there is food over there in the window. In the window. Thanks for singing today. Hi, guys. How are you?
Okay.
You're always the best. You just may not always feel like you're the best. We're going to put that.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
Hello.
I'm doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How's Jenny feeling? Is she recovering?
Some days he feels good, and other days not worth anything. Yeah. I mean, when the rib was coming open and start messing around in there.
Start moving the intestines around and all that sort of
Right.
stuff. It's gonna not feel good.
Does not feel good. No. And I've been trying to be everything, and I'm wearing out. I'm old. I'm getting older by the day and more tired. All I want to do is sleep. So every time he falls asleep, I go down and take him to sleep. So I have to tell you your Sunday joke.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
I mean, otherwise it would be like you hadn't even come.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's absolutely right. What is a ghost's favorite meal?
What is a ghost's favorite meal?
Goulash.
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 Okay.
G-U-L-A-S-H.
Yes.
Only it's
Yes.
goulash.
Yes. That may not be one of your better ones.
I know. I copied it from somebody else.
That's funny.
I have to keep my sense of humor, or I'm
Or else
lost.
you're gonna go completely crazy.
Crazy, right?
So.
Yep. And my Parkinson's disease is just nice even road right now.
We had an elder and deacon meeting Friday night, and we prayed especially for both of you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Lift you guys both up in your Parkinson's and Jonah's cancer and intestinal issues.
Yep. Don't get old.
Well, then you die.
I know, then you die.
There's that.
Right.
Right?
We both have birthdays this month. You've already had yours.
Yeah, when's yours? The
26th.
I was gonna actually guess the 26th.
Yeah.
There's no way.
I think yours is like 12 and mine's 14 days later.
Mine is 12. Yes. Good to see you
Hey,
again.
could I have your attention for just a minute when you're done?
I need to go into my
It's pretty nice.
Okay.
100 miles on
I'm Elena's mom. You might have. Well, I'm fine, but I wanted to tell you something, and I'd ask you to pray for it. I converted to Catholicism about 6 years ago, and from Presbyterianism, and I'm teaching at a Catholic school right now.
Which one you told me?
Assumption, and I don't know that that's where I'm supposed to be now. I have had my eyes awakened to quite a few things, and I am really struggling. So if you could just pray and keep me in your prayers, or if you'd pray right now, that would be great.
I can't remember your first name though.
Teresa.
Teresa Dragkamp.
Yeah, yeah.
the last name. I couldn't remember the first name.
Yeah, Teresa. Okay, boys, just come stand with me a minute.
Hey, boys.
You got to sit or come stand here. You got to stand here. He's going to pray with us a minute. Come here. She's fine. She's fine. Okay.
All right, let's pray.
Okay.
Father, I want to pray for Teresa. I thank you for her. I thank you for many years of loving you. And now as she's struggling with kind of where she is and what she's doing and whether or not she's in the right place and she's become aware of some things. Lord, I pray that you give her such great wisdom and discernment to know what to do now and how best to proceed. Give her great clarity in her mind of understanding of what she needs to see clearly so that she could make these decisions wisely. I pray that the scriptures would play heavily in how she approaches these things and that she would seek out what your word says in terms of trying to understand how best to move forward. Lord, I pray for Teresa. I pray for these decisions and lift them all up to you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, where did Gaby go? Oh, there he is. Okay, come on.
Right there.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Good seeing you again, Teresa.
Hi, how are you?
Yeah, this is exciting.
Yeah. Same with me. Really? Yeah. Well, I mean, it was what year was that? 2001. So yeah, I was just out of high school. Okay. Well, I know it's like
I'll just get your first solo.
oh yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Into your Rush band?
Only because he is. He introduced me to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. And we've been both is that summer?
Me.
Yeah, the
Okay.
tribute band.
Oh, is that what that is?
Yes.
Hey, Josh. Sorry to interrupt your family time there in the middle of church. Sub Danny.
Where'd you get an Oreo? I want an Oreo.
She made these Oreos with like
So you wrap a crescent roll over an Oreo and you bake it, and they were so good.
And
amazing.
I don't see mine anywhere.
Sorry.
I thought we were friends.
She made it for us.
Nice. Well done. And next time, hook. All right, thanks. All right, how we all doing? Has everybody gotten something to eat? Anybody still? Is there a lot back there? What's going on? Probably shouldn't just. Well, thank you guys for joining us this afternoon, almost this morning still, for the next few minutes. And this idea of bringing a school to Grace was a part of the original vision of Grace Presbyterian Church back 24 years ago, 23 years ago. And so it's crazy to think of the possibility of it happening here. It's a massive undertaking, though. It's a big, big deal to do it. It's not something we enter into it lightly. And the session is still praying about it and praying in earnest about making the final decision. But again, as we've always said, we want to include you all in this process. This isn't just us saying we're going to do this. We want this to feel like a ministry of the church. It is a ministry of the church. And as members of the church, our hope and expectation is that you'll be a part of it in different ways. So we have one unfortunate thing. Today we were supposed to have John Roberts, who's the head of school at Covenant Christian School, be with us today, but he had a situation with his family come up, and he had to go to South Dakota or somewhere? Oklahoma. It's not quite as far. But he had to go to Oklahoma, and that's unfortunate. But we do have some videos of John. I can't imagine John on a video, but we'll just go for those of you who know John know what I mean. And maybe you'll know what I mean afterwards. So I'm going to hand this over to Stacy. Stacy's been very excited about this, and Stacy serves as our administrative manager. What do we call you? That's what we call you for the church. And if you ever come into our office, you find Stacy. So, Stacy, Cole, I'm going to hand the thing over to you.
Thank you. Okay, so as you have heard, John Roberts wasn't able to make it this morning, but he did send a video for us, which I would love to show you all. The first video is of the Covenant Christian School, which is in St. Louis County. It's part of Covenant Presbyterian Church, and we are modeling this school after their school, so that we do not have to reinvent the wheel. Their school is about 20 years old now, and it is doing phenomenally well. And we just thought this is a great thing just to take and bring over here. We believe that we can tailor it to the community that we live in. This is not town and country. This is St. Charles County, so it's going to look a little bit different. But I think all in all, everything that they have set up there will work beautifully here. I don't want to be a money changer in the church, but this book right here is for sale. This will give you a great overview of Charlotte Mason. This is the philosophy that the school is based on. So if you would like to purchase a book, one of these is meant for you. Yes, Carol Ann. But otherwise, please come and get a book. I think that you will enjoy looking it over and reading about it. It is very different than if you're used to public school education or even parochial schools for that matter. It is just a whole other, it's not even a bird. It's just something different altogether. So, Chris, do you have that first? Okay, so the very first little clip we have is from Covenant Christian School, just kind of giving you an overview of what that school looks like. Then the second video is John Roberts speaking directly to us as if he were here. Okay?
When I walk the halls of our school, I see engaged, joyful learners.
Our mission here is to educate the whole child to the glory of God in a grace-filled environment.
We're not only thinking about them intellectually, but we're going to be thinking about their spiritual needs, artistic, social, and emotional needs as well.
Can you start it over?
We can embrace the creativity and uniqueness of each child.
In the meantime, you can look at your proposal on the piece of paper. If you don't have one, let me know. I can give one to you, and you can get an idea of the direction that we're going and what they're going to present there too.
When I walk the halls of our school, I see engaged, joyful learners.
If you have nothing. And if you have nothing, then we can just keep Okay, on with the show. So my background is in performance, so it's always on with the show. I feel like I could sing a little opera right now, but I won't. So anyhow, we'll take a look at this really quickly. So we want to offer a new school to the community. This is ambitious, fall of 2023. That means that come January, we would like to have this ready to go. We will be starting out with pre-K, K, and first grade. That's the plan as it stands right now. We might end up adding second grade. It depends.
Somebody turn the sound system off. Okay. Sorry, they turned the system off. All right, let's try again. Now that the power to the system's on.
Pre-K, K, and first grade. If the head of school would like to start with second grade as well, that's
Our mission
okay.
here is to educate the
We'll
whole
let that
child
person
to the
make
glory of
that
God
decision.
in a grace-filled environment.
So,
We're not only thinking about them intellectually, but we're going to be thinking about their spiritual needs, artistic, social, and emotional needs as well.
We can embrace the creativity and uniqueness of each child. And we think that God-given creativity and uniqueness is something that we should cultivate. Our teachers are amazing at making every subject interesting and stimulating our students' thirst for knowledge. Part of the way they do that is by integrating all of the subjects. We can have kids in our outdoor classroom integrating science and math and history and doing it in a way that makes them curious learners.
There's a lot of different topics that we go over, and they're just really fun to engage in. The academics here are very strong, and we do stuff higher than our grade level to help us learn more about math, writing, history, literature. We go on lots of field trips, and I love that.
Covenant Christian School does an amazing job of encouraging confidence in our kids. We give them every opportunity to get up and speak, to pray aloud, and then just getting to be outdoors.
They're able to climb trees, they're able to do open fire cooking, and we have our own school prairie.
There's just such a wide variety of neat places here to play when we have recess.
One of the great things about the kids getting that outdoor experience that's so unique is that kids get to be kids. And through those experiences, they're growing in their confidence and their character. And that just means they'll grow up to be great adults.
We have families from all over the St. Louis area, from a number of churches that look to Covenant to provide a Christ-centered education.
It's just a nice environment that just really helps me become a better Christian.
We seek to provide them with an education that is deep and rich, that will serve them the entirety of their lives.
I'm very proud to be a Pelican.
okay, if you guys would like your kids to go play for a little bit, we do have a couple couple of teenagers back there who are more than happy to let your kids play, and they'll make sure that everybody stays safe. So back in the children's church room. Okay. So as you can see, there's a lot of outdoors that goes on at that school. We are situated in the perfect spot for this school. So we have places to put that prairie garden out there, and we have places to put trees that you can climb on, places that you can run, forts that you can build with logs, and it's just an amazing piece of property that is a gift. We didn't know it would be 20 some odd years later, but it's okay. Some things just kind of have to mature and grow before it's ready. So the second video is coming directly from John. He put this together before he left for Oklahoma. And this, well, you'll see for yourself. And then we'll discuss a little bit more and then some questions.
My name is John Roberts, and I'm an assistant pastor at Covenant Presbyterian Church and head of Covenant Christian School, a ministry of our church. If you're not familiar with Covenant, we're located on Ballas Road, just north of the West County Mall, between Clayton and Manchester Roads. I do want to apologize for not being with you today. I made a commitment to be with you today, and I'm unable to fulfill that commitment. So I want you to know I'm very sorry not to have the opportunity to meet with you in person. And I also want to just note that this video is not going to have the highest production value. And so I'm sorry for that, but I did want to make sure that I had something for you today. Just a little about my background. I was the children's pastor at Covenant Presbyterian Church when I was asked to get the school started. We were starting a school that would be consistent with our understanding of grace. And so our school's mission is we are educating the whole child. So we recognize that all persons are created in the image of God. So we are educating the whole child to the glory of God, all to the glory of God in a grace-filled environment. That is our school's mission statement, and it's something that I think about every day at Covenant. We are thankful that we are at capacity. We're about 180 students, and we serve 109 families, and we have a number of those families that are from St. Charles County. I know from personal experience that starting a school is hard work, but I'm excited for the opportunity that Grace has, the opportunity to start a school, and my prayer is that that would be the direction that this effort goes. I think that there's a need for additional Christian schools in our community. Like I said, it's hard work. It's hard work to start a school. I'm not going to sugarcoat that. But the blessings are tremendous. Not only for our students, not only for our families, but for the church as a whole as well. As you consider this effort, I want you to know that Covenant will support you in any way we can. Right now, we're helping a school in Illinois get started. They're, I think, in their 4th or 5th year right now, and we still provide certain levels of support for that effort. And we're helping a school in Arkansas get started, and it's supposed to get started this next school year. So we're excited for that. So we are committed to helping other schools get started, just as other schools helped us get started 20 years ago. And we're grateful for their support and grateful for the opportunity we have to support other schools as they get started. So I want you to know we'll give you everything we have, any sort of documentation, any processes, any policies, whatever the case might be. We're willing to turn that over to you, our curriculum thoughts, whatever the case might be. We're happy to share that with you. But also, for whatever wisdom I might have after starting this school some 20 years ago and seeing the ups and downs of that effort, hopefully whatever wisdom I have can help you avoid some of the mistakes that we made. but I want you to know I'm happy to share that with you as you continue your work. I do want to let you know that, and we are grateful for this, that Covenant Christian School is financially sound. We're thankful that that has been pretty much the case since day one. We know that folks have come alongside us in very specific ways to make sure that that was the case. And it took a lot of folks who invested in our school ministry to make it a reality. So I recognize that as a part of what you're working through together as a church and as leadership in the church, you're trying to understand how to make that the financial piece work as well. So I do want you to know that I understand that piece, that it costs money to get a school started. And so, as you consider this effort, getting a school started at Grace, which is very exciting, I think it's a very exciting opportunity for you. I'd also ask that you prayerfully consider giving to that effort to help that school get started. So once the decision's made, you're going to move forward, that you really prayerfully consider helping make this a reality. It does take resources to start the school, but once you get started, I will say this, that Covenant, again, has been blessed by the fact that we have not struggled financially, really. All these years, the Lord has just put the right people in the right place at the right time to keep our ministry sound. And so, like I said, I'm grateful that we are strong financially, and I think prayerfully that Grace would find that. As I finish up here today, first let me just say I'm grateful for the opportunity to share with you a little bit. Again, I apologize for not being there in person. I'd love to be there with you to answer any questions you might have. I want you to know that Stacy Cole has my contact information. If for whatever reason you want to visit with me, I'm happy to do so. I guess the last thing I'd say is that we'll continue to keep you in our prayers, and go Griffins.
Thanks, John. What you don't know is he really speaks Chinese. So the line doesn't match, with his talking and his, if you've ever seen any of those old movies. Maybe not. Maybe I'm just really old. Okay. Which that could be the case too. So, well, that's pretty much all I actually have in particular without hearing from you all. So there are a few of us here. I've got Donna with us, and Carol Ann and Shelby, and Tom. Oh, the grade levels. Yeah, so it would be pre-K, K, and first grade, possibly second grade, depending on what the head of school decides. Now, we don't know who that person is as of yet, but we are looking at people now, and it's primarily up to them. Obviously, as a board, we'll discuss what that would look like to make sure that we have enough resources to make that happen for the first year. And then we add a grade every year. As they grow, we grow. And really, the sky is the limit. There is no reason to say we're stopping at 5th grade or 6th grade or whatever. So if there's a continued need to carry on, then we will carry on. We have so many housing developments all around us right now. So just starting when? Well, we'd love to start 23, 24. So that means in the fall. So, that means come January, pretty much everything has to be ready, set, go. And there are so many tiny details to make happen, but those are things that we can obviously work through. But first things first is to say, yes, this is what we definitely want. And then we get our person, our head of school, and then it just, it's the missile out the chute, out the back of the boat. and then we just go. So anyway, did you want to say anything, or you just want to go ahead and take some? Yeah, absolutely.
As Mike said, this has been a vision of Grace since its inception. Originally, I think this was going to be a gymnasium, and those were going to be classrooms, and we were going to build a church elsewhere, and that obviously was not God's plan. What we're praying now is that a school is God's plan. And we'll talk more about that next week during the service. I'm going to talk a little bit about how the need for everybody to be involved, and that all stakeholders in this church community should be a part of this. My first question as an educator was curriculum. I want to know about the curriculum. Be sarcastic. I didn't want kids playing in sand all day and calling that school. Like, what are we going to learn? And Stacy took me over to, is it Covenant or Coventry? Covenant. And we visited with John for a couple hours. We walked through the school. We watched the kids at recess. We saw some of the classrooms. It's going to be a real solid curriculum. I wouldn't be happy any other way. That was my first concern, is what are we going to be teaching? And so the curriculum is concurrent. We're teaching things concurrently, or we will be teaching things concurrently. So in other words, math and science, math and art, science and writing. All these things, because our life isn't segregated into courses. Our life is, you do one thing, you do lots of things, and that's what we're looking for here. I really like the idea that the kids are encouraged to be curious, problem solvers, innovative thinkers. That we don't teach kids facts, we teach kids how to think. And that's what we'll be focused on. Yes, ma'am. Yes. Once again, my question too. My question too was, how do we know? What kind of testing? I asked John, what kind of assessments do you do? And he said that generally they find that kids who come to them from the public schools are behind. So there's assessment when a kid enters, there's assessment during the year, there's assessment because that, once again. And my other thing is accreditation. Like, who do you use for your accreditation? Once again, it can't just be a school where this is not Mom's Day Out. This is our kids need to learn. And so that's where my focus is in all of this. Oh, yeah, absolutely, yeah. Say what? Yes, I need to get more information on it myself. Accreditation doesn't begin until your school is started. Oh yeah, we'll get as much of that information because I want it too. That was one of my questions for John today was going to be, now what's your accrediting agency? Because I feel like as we start the school, we need to build toward accreditation from day one. Just like like when you build your house. You don't build it and then have the inspector come in. You ask the inspector what he's going to be looking for and you build to the standards, and that's what we need to be doing. We need to be developing a curriculum and a school culture that leans itself towards accreditation. So, anything else? Oh, wait, right here. Angie. It's here. I know we have to share space. No, it stays here. Yeah. We've got classrooms in the back. Could be, I don't know. Oh, have you ever been to Awana on Wednesday nights? Ta-da. Yeah. And once again, that also leans itself towards, this is not how can I put this? This is an outreach, and Mike said it too, and this is an outreach of our church. We are called to spread the word. That's what we're called to do. And this is a unique opportunity for us to do it. And you wake up every morning and look around, and the world's getting bolder and bold. I can't say the words. Bolder. And we have to be bold right back in our beliefs, in spreading the word, in letting our light shine, and this is our opportunity, I think. I mean, I personally think we need a day of prayer for the entire church community so that we can focus specifically on God. What do you want us to do? He's blessed us with these children. What does he want us to do with them? So, yeah.
I just wanted to add to that as someone who teaches at a public school, and it was kind of hard to wrap my mind around, like, this doesn't look like that. Like, how can we make that work? And when we toured at Covenant, they showed us their original, like where they held classes, because obviously as they've grown, they've built at this beautiful, you saw it on the video. That's not where they started. They started with something very similar to what we have. I would argue our facilities actually look a lot better than what they started with. So we have classrooms back here, and John was great about talking about small tweaks that really made a big difference, and you would be surprised at what we already have here in this space. Sometimes it takes a little creativity, but we have a lot of what we need, and a lot of the model also relies on outdoor space, and we have a perfect campus for that. I mean, truly a beautiful campus. So to answer that a little bit further, yeah. And of course we grow over time and hope to build, but right now, I mean, we have what we need, God's providing, so, yeah.
Wait, did you have something? Oh, how'd you use the space? So actually we would start, I'm following a lot of what John has already set up. And so he highly recommended that we cap our class sizes at 15 kids per class. And so I think Katie had let me know 15 kids is doable, except for the cubby room. That's a fine amount, and especially with so much of their education occurring outside, they're coming in to do other math type things or things that would actually require them to sit down with a piece of paper and a pencil or what have you. But it will work, especially for the first several years as it stands right now. So, there are so many things that we need to think about. There's, like, what do you do with a tornado? Or, what do you do when, I don't know. There's just so many things that are mulling around in our minds. And so we are writing these things down, and we talk about these things at the meetings, the board meetings. Like, okay, well, what happens if this? Or what do we do about this? Or there's storage issues, or, all of those kinds of things. Yeah. Yes, I agree. So what Donna just said is it's very important to get things from you, the congregation. What are your thoughts? What are your concerns? And so we write these things down, and we talk about them, and we try to answer them the best that we can, or at least provide a plan in the near future of how we can address them so that everybody can live in some sort of copacetic manner here in the building. Oh, wait, okay, hang on just a second. Yes? Sure. Oh, no.
Or is it if we're yes, but we're not putting ducks in a row and they start playing more? I'm just wondering.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So, this is kind of why we also want to start with just a few of the classes at first. It calls for less resources, less money, less space, all those kinds of things. So this is kind of God's timing. We're literally like floating on this raft, and he is the wind in the sail. And so he will take us where we need to go at the time that we need to go. So the hope and the plan was to shoot for the 23-24 school year, but if it's like the Lord is like, nope, then we wait. So we just wait on what he has to say. Okay, hang on, Carol Ann. Yes, absolutely, of course you can say something.
I would highly recommend, this is what I'm going to say, anybody who has any interest or thought at all in doing this, that you read this book. And the reason I say this, believe me, I'm not getting a penny from endorsing the book, but 35 years ago, I read this book. And I knew I had to homeschool our children and use the Charlotte Mason philosophy. And Dan and I did, and it was the best decision other than accepting Christ as my Savior, and I'm not being trite about this, that we ever made. She, well, I won't get into a history of Charlotte Mason, but just let me say that Francis and Edith Schaefer endorsed Charlotte Mason many years ago, and their daughter, Susan Schaefer Macaulay, wrote the book For the Children's Sake, and it's all on the philosophy of Charlotte Mason. So, I mean, if you love Francis and Edith Schaefer, as I'm sure we all do, and respect them, she was their guide. She was the model, and I cannot praise her enough. Never in all my life did I ever think that 33 years ago when we moved out here, that one day, I mean, nobody had even heard in our circle of Charlotte Mason except at the seminary because of Francis and Edith Schaefer, but nobody heard of Charlotte Mason. And here today, this school has the opportunity to start a Charlotte Mason school. And that, in my mind, I'm blown away, and I give God all the glory because she's phenomenal. I highly, highly recommend, if you have just a drop of a thought of maybe this is for you, please read this book. You can have that now. Okay. Okay, thank you. Okay, yes, Missy. Yes. One class per grade, 15 kids per grade. Yep. So it's two different things. So, you know, you have your session for the church, and that is a separate entity from the school board. Well, the board of directors, I believe those are session members, are they not? The board of directors? No. No, yes, I get a no and a yes. Yep. So, yes. So currently, there's Tom Dell, who would be our representative of the session, who is on the board. And right now we have. So this is not. I know he's. Oh, not another one. Okay. Yes, you're a superstar. And then Carol Ann Zink, Shelby Mundell, Donna Wagner, Evan Miller. Yes, there's Evan. And then myself, yes. So we do have educators. We have business IT guy, promoter, marketer. We obviously need people who are financial people. A lawyer would be absolutely fabulous. But just to initially start, this is where we're at. Now, Covenant Christian School has given us a board, I forgot what it's called off the top of my head. Something to the effect of structuring a board, the board policies, kind of like the Book of Church Order here. So yeah, it's like a handbook for the board. And it's very detailed. Oh heavens, yes, it's very detailed. And so we will just be following that and organizing, keeping things transparent, but also moving things along. And it's an extremely helpful tool. The other things that they've given us are what all the classes teach and their expectations, curriculum, that they're more than happy to share their curriculum with us. So we're not just going out on a limb blindly. This is well thought through, and we are riding on the coattails of something that has been very successful. Yes? I just wanted to say my kids started off and their elementary school days at
And we have been looking, we've been fielding different schools that are out here. So right now, as far as your Christian ed is concerned, you have the Catholic schools, you have Christian elementary school, Messiah, oh yeah, so you have some Lutheran schools, Child of God, okay. Oh, that's a Lutheran though, isn't it? What is it? Oh, First Baptist O'Fallon, yeah. So there's not a ton of them, and the caliber at which this school would operate and function is quite honestly very high. So it would be different. It would definitely be different. We're also kind of on Oak Haven Montessori, if you're familiar with Montessori, it's similar to that, but now you've got the whole Christ-centered aspect of it, which is now, it's like Montessori on steroids. It's a wonderful thing, because now you are this whole image created by God, and you're doing all these wonderful and cool creative things, but it's all Christ-centered, biblically centered. So, yes. So that's something that we are talking through right now. We have established what we would need to charge for tuition, and that is based on, we have evaluated all the other private schools around here. And we've also talked to John and Noah Brink, who does a lot of work in private schools in the St. Louis area. So we want to be able to offer, so first of all, I should say, church members would definitely get a discount. But we also want to be able to offer more like need-based in case, sometimes you get an exceptional child who is in the public school who really benefit from being at this school. And so we want to be able to help out with that. But as far, scholarship. So that also calls for building an endowment. I do remember that John said when they first started that school, he and I don't remember who the other person was, but basically, it was George Robertson. They said, well, we need to start an endowment for Covenant Christian School, and they each put $20 on the table and said, this is where it starts. And so I said, well, I've got 20 bucks. So, that's just how it's going to start. We're going to open up the fund. We're going to start the endowment. We're just going to keep growing as much as we possibly can. There's no reason to stop. As long as we continue to believe in what the school is and what it can offer, sky's the limit. So, obviously we're going to need an immense amount of money at the very front end. So we're talking about hiring not just the head of school and the teachers, but to maintain the property, it would be beneficial to actually have somebody who does property maintenance. That would also include janitorial and, resetting the chairs and mopping the floors and, all of those things that come with having a school and church in one space. Yes? So it's all under the same EIN. So we are a nonprofit that's under Grace Presbyterian Church. Because we are a ministry, the thing that starts separating is like we have a different checking account. So this is where Charlotte actually would be really helpful, because she's the business gal at Covenant Christian School. But if you have questions about that, I'll collect the questions. We'll make sure that we meet again and be able to answer some of those things in the future. So, yes. Yes, absolutely. So I have a pad up here if you want to either look at the books or purchase a book, and then also the pad of paper here that you can write your contact information, and it'll be strictly like a Grace Day School email notification. Oh, yeah, that's great. Oh, wait, here it is right here. Sorry. Here's a pen. Here. Yeah, so an email address would be great. And then we can keep you updated as far as when things happen, or so you are really valuable. You are part of Grace Presbyterian Church. You are part of this body. And we all take an oath, when children get baptized, that we're going to help raise children in the admonition of the Lord. So you are part of this. This is like your school. So we want everybody to feel like this is your school. Even if you don't have kids who attend here, not everybody can attend here. I'm dying. Not everybody can attend here. Your kids might be too old by the time this thing gets fired up. But that doesn't mean that you can't go out and say, hey, you know what, I go to a great church and we have a school here. And if you have kids this age, we would love to have you part of our family, our school and church family. So preschool is, what is that, like 3 and 4? Yeah. So, yes. Am I going to be the principal? Oh, yeah, there's going to be a head of school. Yeah, there will be a head of school. No, not me. Yeah, so there will be a head of school here. And hopefully that person, we are looking for people who have significant visionary skills, but also have a great and strong educational background, who will be able to pull in some amazing talent and be able to connect with these kids and grow them up in the way that we would like them to grow up. Any other questions or thoughts? Yes, Tom. Yes.
Okay, so I'm Tom Dell. For those of you who don't know me, I'm on the session. I found out I'm on the board, interboard or something. But anyway, I just want to say it sounds like it's a done deal that we're going ahead with this, but we're really still, from a session point of view, do I need a different one? Okay, is this better? So the session is still evaluating it, and we're still praying about it, and we're asking for the Lord's guidance in it. And so we're open for your input. First of all, the church has to be on good financial grounds, and the school can't be a financial burden. It has to be ready to go, funded. We've got to have the money in the bank for the first year. I don't know where that's coming from, but if it's of the Lord, it will happen. Pray for us as session members as we, at some point very soon, we're going to have to make a definite decision whether we're going to go forward with this thing or not, because things have to be put in motion. And then I want to just say also, the big question in St. Louis is, where did you go to high school? Well, nobody ever asked me that because I'm not from St. Louis, so I'm going to tell you where I went to high school, okay? I was in the second graduating class of Dayton Christian High School, 1973. My brother was in the first graduating class, 1972, so now you know how old I am. But the church, so there were 12 in his graduating class and 13 in my graduating class, and there were 42 in the class after me, and now and we met at Christian Tabernacle School in Dayton, Ohio, shared facility with a church. Today there are numerous campuses, high school, middle school, elementary school. It's one of the largest private Christian schools in the country. And it started with a vision of one man who was a vice president at National Cash Register in Dayton, Ohio, and God called him into education because he saw what the education was going in the country, and he felt a burden to educate God's children up in the ways and admonition of the Lord. It's very important, and as you look around today and you see the status of the education, okay, I drive a school bus. I'm not exactly an educator, but I deal with the education system, and I see where it's going. And you all see on the news, the whole critical race theory, transgender. I don't need to detail all of the things, but Christian values, when I grew up earlier in public school, it wasn't as bad, but my parents even wanted me to have a Christian education. They sacrificed greatly to be able to send me to Dayton Christian and my brother. Okay, so Christian education is very, very important. So we as a session ask that you pray about this, that you ask God to lead us, that we can be united and unanimous and being able to make the decision to go forward, and that the Lord will provide the necessary financial resources if it's to happen. I believe it's a very important thing. Children are important. The education system is failing in our country, and so I'd ask for you to pray about it. So that's all I wanted to say about that.
Yeah, so I too grew up going to Christian school. Evan did too, and our school was in the church. So we know what it's like to live side by side as school and church. And I mean, I loved it. I loved it. I was like, oh, that's my classroom right there. We have Sunday school in my classroom, and it's so cool. You know, I know where all the snacks are and all the paper and, you know, all that kind of stuff. So, it was a wonderful gift. And yes, I mean, it is, for some, it is a sacrifice. It really is. And it just is like, what is important to you? You just have to make those decisions as far as, you know, it's not free. The one nice thing, though, and this is for those who are either homeschooled or going into a private school for the first time, there is that tax credit that they're doing right now. I think if you look up online, it's like $6,500 per student, I think is what it is, if you put your kid in private school. So we will hope and pray that the money follows the child, you know, in the very near future, that it's just straight across the board. School choice, that's it, thank you, yep. That we will have school choice here in this state here sooner than later. That would be great. Any other questions? I'm sure y'all just go home and mull over this, and if something comes up, please feel free to email me. Yes. Yeah, tell me, what are you thinking? What? Do you have an answer for that? What? No? So there is a tax credit for this coming year, I believe. It's like $6,500, but your kid cannot, so like my kids don't qualify because they already went 1 year in a private school. We pulled them out of the public school, put them in private, but now we don't qualify anymore. Yeah, so, right, exactly. So this is why we really want to push for the full school choice, so that even, yeah. It's like, well, my husband works at a seminary and I work at a church. It would be really nice not to, you know what I mean? It would be really nice to have the tax dollars to be able to go, send them to Christian High. So anyway, but it's being worked on. People are talking, and I think after the pandemic, there's more talk and more sense of urgency to make that happen. So, any other thoughts or questions? Like I said, if you do have any other thoughts or questions, please feel free to email me. We will get a email list together, and then next week Donna will be able to talk a little bit more too about pushing us forward in prayer and fasting. It is monumental, so even like today, when you have your prayers at dinner time, you can even take just a second just to lift us up in your prayers. So if that is all she wrote, then Mike, do you mind praying to close us out then? Don't forget, we've got a book. Don't forget to write your name on the pad of paper. Don't forget, if you have any questions or whatever, send them to me here. Thanks.
Sure, I can pray. Let's pray. Father, we want to thank you so much for the opportunity to raise up children in this way. Lord, it is a massive undertaking, to say the least, to raise the funds, to bring in teachers, head of school, for people to give and sacrifice many hours and dollars and energy to help make it happen. And so, Lord, we cry out to you and ask, is this your will? Is this your desire? We seek your wisdom. We seek your discernment. We seek your understanding of this situation. We seek your will. Help us to know how best to proceed, how best to take us to that next step. Give the elders great wisdom as they make this decision as well, and give us a great sense of peace, and not just peace, but also an excitement about what you're doing. Thank you for Stacy and for the board who's been stepping up already and giving their time and energy and even money to help get us to this place already. And we ask, Lord, for all of it to be cast into your hands. And we trust you with it. We pray all of these things in Jesus' name. Amen. Thank you all for coming.